the story. Two sides to the story. What's up, y'all? It's your boy D-Lyles.
It's your girl Danielle.
And we are your two favorite talk show hosts of your favorite show, Talk. What's up, guys? Look, we have an interesting podcast episode for you today. We're talking about health and how it affects your mood. So I'll start off and talk about what actually enters the brain, the certain terminology, and all this other stuff that happens with it, right? So it's called tryptophan and serotonin. Okay, so as more as tryptophan enters the brain, more serotonin is synthesized in the brain, and the mood trends to improve. Serotonin, known as a mood regulator, is made naturally in the brain for tryptophan with some help from the B vitamins. So that's why it's important to take your vitamin Bs, because that helps smooth out the mood. It's like I said, it's a mood regulator. So that's what's helping your mood balance itself. All right. Foods thought to increase serotonin levels in the brain include fish and vitamin D. All right. So, Miss Danielle Serene, do you think that food affects the way we think, our mood, just our mood throughout the day? What do you think?
Absolutely. That's why they say that we should eat more fruits and vegetables and take vitamins and all that good stuff. Also get enough sun, because if not, it can affect our mood, because we eat based off of our mood. Like if we're not having a good day, or if we're like depressed or whatever, sad, we're usually going to go to junk food. I know when I'm like having a bad day, usually, just for example, I'm not about to go get a salad. I'm going to go indulge in like a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. If I'm not, that's kind of what I used to do.
Jerry's, I haven't had that in a long time though.
That's like one of my favorite ice creams, half baked. It's so good. But when I'm just in the mood or just being fat, that's just what I do. And then I realized, like, after I ate the whole pint, I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? So it definitely, affects your mood, but we just definitely have to do better, because health is wealth. And I realized, like, throughout my entire life, I had horrible, unhealthy, like, eating habits. And it's just, I don't know, like at a young age, I just wasn't educated about the matter. And I feel like as I got older, I'm getting more aches, getting more pains. And I realized, like, I have to educate myself and just take care of myself better. So do you feel like right now you're healthy?
I'm going to say no. I'm not potentially the best I could be health-wise. And to piggyback what you said about, just when we were younger, they actually did teach us. They tried to tell us, right? And they tried to give us, like, especially in school, they tried to give us a healthy balance, like, meal.
That wasn't even real food.
But look, check it out, though. Most of the time, they were going off of, like, what FDA wanted us to, like,
and the food pyramid.
Yeah, they wanted us to go off that, but it didn't necessarily mean it was good. But they could have at least made it to where it looked good, or where we wanted to eat it. I'm not gonna lie, in high school, man, we were hungry, so we just ate, because we were hungry.
Ate whatever they served us.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I get it now. We won't get it until, like, we're, like, older, especially now since, I'm 31. It's like, it's some stuff that caught. Hey, I had an ache in the back of it was on the side of my knee and the back of my knee, right? And I notice when I eat certain foods now where I will get like a little headache or whatever, because it's more intake, than me actually sweating it off, right? Man, I just wish I would have just went harder, in my early 20s, instead of just eating what I wanted to, thinking I was invincible because I was young. When you're young, you feel like you can eat anything.
And you can when you're younger, because you're not thinking like, I need to eat healthy. Well, for a lot of people, you just thinking like, okay, I remember, I will never forget, like, when I used to be on the volleyball team in Corliss.
I just learned something. You on a volleyball team in Corliss?
All 4 years.
What?
Because you didn't talk to me in high school. We're not going to go there. But anyway.
Whatever.
After volleyball practice, me and my friends, we would go to Popeyes like every single day and like get.
You talking about the Popeyes by the Viaduct?
Yeah.
Oh my! I ain't gonna lie to you. My mom's shop was across the street from Popeyes, so that I ate there a lot. They knew me. I should have worked there. You know what I'm saying? As a kid.
Probably. But we would go to Popeyes every single day, and then we would just, first off, Popeyes is not cheap, so I was working, but still we would go there, eat that chicken, eat the biscuits, eat them fries, and drink their pop, and it was just so bad. Back then it was like, okay, I wasn't thinking of nothing like that. I'm just like, okay, I'm just hungry, so I'm just gonna eat. But I didn't realize what I was putting into my body.
Now see, I have a confession too. And it's for both of us because that was the most craziest, unhealthiest thing that we could have done at that time. You were doing volleyball and I was in the marching band. And both of those it's physical sports,
Right.
So the fact that we're exercising and we're building all of this leg muscle and, muscle memory. And after that, we go and eat Popeyes. And we just messed up all the calories we burned. Everything we did that day was for nothing. Like, for nothing.
That's true. But that was our mindset when we were younger. We just wasn't thinking about it. If, they try to tell us in school, oh, you should eat this, oh, eat that. I'm not listening to that.
But we should, and this is where we, I'm going to speak for myself because I don't do this as much as often, and I should. I don't eat breakfast every day.
Wow, breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it though?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I agree, but I just want to know what you thought about it because I notice some days when I eat breakfast unintentionally, I may feel better during the day leading up to lunch. If I don't eat, if I have like a snack or something or some water or some tea, maybe the tea will hold me for like maybe a couple hours, but I'm feeling like I'm getting a hunger headache every time it's 12 noon, around 1 o'clock, because I'm not having the proper nutrients when I wake up.
Because they say like if you skip breakfast, then for lunch, you're going to overeat.
Every single time I overeat.
So that's why they say breakfast is important. That way you won't overeat. Because we're supposed to actually eat what they say 5 to 6 times a day. And how many times do you eat every day?
Man, I may eat probably twice a day.
Wow.
Twice. But I you know what? And because I'm overeating, if I ate a proper portion, then maybe I could eat over 3 times a day. But I don't because I'm overeating. So I'm full for about 5 hours. In the next few hours, I may be full or not. I may eat again. But
so when you're overeating, what type of foods are you eating? Are you eating like home cooked meals, vegetables?
Home cooked meals, and sometimes it's not the healthiest home cooked meals. I find myself, I'm trying to stop eating out a lot. And that, we'll talk about that on another episode, how that affects finances, all the stuff that affects that. But especially eating, that's a lot of our finance right there because we need to eat. But at the same time, it's like, even in the morning, like when we fry bacon and we fry sausage, it's like, I felt like for the longest, what was the argument about the breakfast being so healthy? Because you slaughtering stuff that's bad for us to even eat, right? Until I found ways to have a breakfast without eating that kind of stuff. But it's not normal to us because that's, we're hooked on that stuff. We're hooked on pork. If we don't eat it after a certain round, like our body starts to feed on itself and we're feeding for it. So some people have oatmeal. Like I
love oatmeal.
I can't have oatmeal every time.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's so many foods that are just so good and you can make it as easy and as simple. Like me, I've always loved oatmeal, but what I used to eat, like when I was younger, like the pack of oatmeals, that's like the different flavors, like brown sugar, strawberry, peaches. Those are actually unhealthy. But what I learned is just to get like the regular, like the Quaker Oats oatmeal, and then you flavor it and make it good on your own. Right. And I've learned that from watching different YouTubers and just making the food just taste amazing. And like I love oatmeal. It's so good because you can make make it so many ways.
I think that's the problem too, trying to find different ways, like different recipes to make it just not the same, because it'll get boring. Like, it'll get very mundane if you're just making the same thing every day and you're not switching it up,
Right.
And and just for some educational type stuff, like going further, the reason why, if you feel like you feel fatigued, like I just mentioned, I'll be fatigued around a certain part of the day. People develop anxiety. And the reason you develop anxiety is because, like I said, the tryptophan and, all that stuff, it's feeding your brain. So your brain needs to be fed. And when you wake up in the morning, if you do not eat, which I understand the research now is that you're not feeding your brain. So now it's oxygen, and you may become sleepy during the day if you don't eat. Like on Sundays, if I don't eat breakfast and I eat in the middle of the day, just a big portion, I get very sleepy. Like quick, I get itis quick, right?
And they say that it's so bad when we eat and we get itis, because it's not supposed to be like that.
It's not supposed to be like that, but I overeat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, if you wonder why you've built up anxiety and, fatigue and all these other things, is that, you're skipping breakfast, so we need to figure out how to have balanced meals for our bodies. Study your body, know your intake, know your calorie intake, study yourself. If you want to be the best you, I say study the best version of yourself so you can get there, Also, I'll mention a time where I was on a weight loss journey. Shout out to JJ Smith Green Smoothies. I started that in 2015. My goal was to only lose 15 pounds.
Did you make it?
I lost 25 pounds.
Okay.
All right. And
how long did you do it? You did it for 2 weeks?
I did it for it was 56 days. All right.
That's a long time.
I did the intermittent fast for about 10 days. That's without eating, just nothing but smoothies and unsalted nuts and, some fruits here and there, right?
That sounds like torture, but okay.
But because I decided to go cold turkey. It's all mental for me. Like, I want it to be mental, like, let me get over this hump. Mm-hmm. After those 10 days, praise God, I was finally able to eat a meal per day with my servings of green smoothie. Because once you eat that and you drink water, you're full. And I would go to sleep. I was so happy to go to sleep every day because I would be asleep and I know I'm not eating. So, boom, I wake up, right? Let me tell you, when I lost weight and I got those nutrients, that green, I didn't have too much of the greens because you don't want to get the alkaline buildup in your body from doing that. But I put just enough of the nutrients in my body. When I tell you, my skin was clear, my hair was blacker than it usually was. My mood for everything, I was energized. I didn't feel depressed. At random times, I didn't feel like sluggish. I didn't feel none of that. So it's very important that we eat, we eat good or watch what we eating, because that does affect how we think, especially getting older.
So let me ask you this. So after you were done with the JJ Smith diet, what did you do after that?
I'm going to tell you what messed me up. I did good for about 2 months, right? 2 months straight. My eating habits was good. What happened was I went to Atlanta. And there was this good seafood place that was there. It was so good. And I promised myself, I'm just going to have a cheat day today. I'm going to do that because it was so good. When I got back home, I craved seafood. I came back home and I went crazy. And slowly but surely, my brain, because my body was used to pork at one time, eating jambalaya and eating gumbo, the andouille sausage, right? The intake of that, my body started to feel what it normally felt before. So my brain was like, oh, hell yeah, I know that, right? I started craving it and I messed up. And from there, I became bloated.
So no self-control.
I lost all self-control.
See, that's why I don't like diets. I feel like I tried so many diets. I did the intermittent fasting. I tried the JJ Smith thing. I tried so many diets, but what I don't like about diets is that they're so restricted. And they say that, you need to do this so you can build the mental and all that good stuff. But I feel like making like one small change, or like the small changes, makes a big difference. Like for breakfast, like if I want to make a smoothie, add, some vegetables like spinach, kale, all the good stuff in there, versus just I'm on a strict diet. Because honestly, when I'm restricted from like the foods that I love, I feel miserable. I feel like, oh my God, I can't eat this. Like, I understand, like, okay, you need to do this, but it's just like, that doesn't really work for me. And that's why I went to YouTube and I found different ways to like, just to cook more and just to incorporate more vegetables and fruit in it. And it tastes so good that way.
Yeah. And, you know, I found that JJ Smith, it worked for me. The problem was, if I was around people that had food and I know I couldn't eat it, the smell satisfied me. It just started to satisfy me. I was good with that. Right? The problem was my mindset wasn't right doing it then. Now, if I do it, I'm doing it for myself.
Right.
I was doing it for other people. I wanted to look good for certain girls. And then I had a certain time to lose weight because I had, you know, a photo shoot to do. And, you know, I was trying to rebrand myself. So it forced me to do that. And it wasn't the healthiest way to lose weight when I first started it. But I had to learn, you know, as I went through those days, I learned how to do it. And I stopped eating sugar. I stopped eating a whole lot of other stuff that I used to, you know, and I maintained that weight. But damn it, when I got to Atlanta,
blame Atlanta,
is when all it took was, let me just have one cheat day and let me just forget everything.
See, what you could have did, okay, you had a cheat day, okay, fine. But then you just go back to the way you were, just eat better.
I didn't work. Matter of fact, I didn't work out that whole week. That's what I should have did. I should have worked out. Maybe I would have felt better. I would have went back into it. One thing I did research on, a lot of people out there that's listening, you probably may hate me for this, but you got to lay off the caffeine. We got to.
No,
you gotta stop.
No. Hold on. Let me stop you real quick. It's not necessarily the caffeine, because caffeine is actually good for you. It's what you put in it,
okay,
like in your coffee.
Don't overdo the caffeine.
Like if you put in all like the sugar and a bunch of like creamers, that's not good for you. Of course, that's bad. But caffeine is not bad for you.
Let's say this. Don't overdo it. All right. Don't overdo the caffeine. Okay.
That's for anything.
I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's supposed to be a suppressant to keep you awake.
I am a coffee lover, alert. So you're not about to just disrespect the coffee.
I don't like coffee.
That's you.
I don't like it. It's very nasty to me.
If you even look it up, like black coffee, okay, they say that's the best for you because there's nothing in there, and
I'm sure
that helps keep you up and all that good stuff. That's coffee. Is nothing wrong with that. It's just what you put in it. Just like people get salads and they add like a whole bunch of ranch and a whole bunch of bacon and all this stuff. Then again, that defeats the whole purpose, and that makes the salad unhealthy.
You're putting all that stuff right back on there. You know what I mean? All those calories, you know.
So I looked it up, and for like the number one killer for men and women is heart disease.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of this definitely goes by the way we eat, and just by the way we live our life. If we're stressed, we're depressed, and we're not eating right, you know, that can just lead to a lot of things. So for men, the number one is heart disease, and number two is stroke. And for women, the number one is heart disease, and the number two is cancer. You know, that was, you know, the killers. And a lot of this is based off by the way, you know, the things that we put in our body. We really are what they say. You are what you eat. That's really true.
And let me ask you this. I had a radio interview the other day for AC Green on 106.3, right? And he said something that was so profound to me. And he brought to our attention, he made us, you know, remember that Big Mama, Big Mama is known in all kind of families. No matter what ethnic group you're from, there's always a Big Mama in that knows how to cook. Now, my parents and their parents, they grew everything straight from the ground. So everything from the ground has to be healthy for you. You know, you didn't hear of all of them having cancer and all of this stuff back then. You know, most of the time, probably just because they love, you know, greens and adding extra stuff to that stuff. That's what's making us get it, right?
But also, like, the time was also different. Like, back then, they didn't have all the stuff that they have now. Now, stuff is so unhealthy because it's a faster way to make it in the you know, like the unprocessed foods. Right. Back then, they didn't have all that.
So do you think now, is it important for us now to grow our own stuff? Like, once we get the product and it's important. I mean, I think it's important to save the seeds. Whatever has seeds, I think we should save. Or we should, find a retailer that has this stuff and we can grow this stuff ourselves. Like, do you think it's important to do that more so now?
Absolutely. But that takes a lot of work. Even being in Illinois, we can't grow everything up here. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, that's a lot of time. So I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm not even going to lie, but they do have more like healthier food options that you can buy, such as like organic or just better stuff. You don't have to buy the crap.
And I think too, and I'm glad you said that because, I think the reason why, and I'm going to say I probably wouldn't do it either. If I had time, I would. But I think it's time management. I don't think we have the time to do that because the way things are now, I think it's so fast paced in bigger cities.
Right.
It's easier to eat out. It's easier just to go to the grocery store when it's already prepared. When everything is cut, everything is, wiped off. We wipe it again when we get home. It's easy access, And I think that is the main problem too, is the reason why people, are not able to have good eating habits because we're lazy to really do it, or find time really to do it. If we did, it probably would be better. But then more so, companies might be out of businesses. They might be out of jobs because people will wake up and we'll be growing everything. And it's like, hey, this McDonald's here. You remember us? Wendy's, remember our nuggets? Remember,
That's true. But being in this society, it's like we've far away from growing foods and all that. Or like back then, like the, great grandmothers and all that, they would like take the kids out there. Come on, help me, grow this food. It's not like that anymore.
True.
So the times have changed. Everything has changed. But it's just, if you know that you're just eating wrong, it's just about making those small changes so that you can even feel better. When I eat better, I feel better. When I work out, I feel amazing. And it's just, I feel like you can eat whatever you want to eat. It's just how much you eat. Like if you want some cookies, don't eat the whole thing of cookies. Like just have a few, like 2 or 3, and that's what it is.
It's
our problem.
So hard. No, that's hard. Very hard. It's very hard not to do. Very hard not to do. And I think the other side of that is that, like I said, we have our own personal cravings, and once we get hooked to these things, it's hard to stop. Like I feel like habits are. I feel like if we're going to call a crackhead, we should call ourselves crackheads because we're addicted to it.
Crackheads for the bad foods.
You know what I'm saying? Crackheads for the bad foods, man. Like, think twice when you call a bum or a crackhead because guess what? You're the same way. You need it just as bad as they need it.
That's true. I never thought about it like that.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and it's crazy. Because it also comes to a standard, right? Mm-hmm. We see a crackhead dirty, or however they may look a certain way. We all know one when we see one. But a crackhead doesn't mean that they should just look dirty.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's crackheads presented to be in the best suits possible.
The functional crackheads.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? So if we don't want to be crackheads or be crack addicts, I say we need to learn how to form better eating habits. And also this goes into, how we may treat people, because think of it this way. I think processed food and chips and stuff like that we were eating in the morning before school affected the way we learned. Like it affected our days.
For sure.
Because we were off the chain. You know what I'm saying? Like our bodies matured faster than it was supposed to. Because we were eating all this stuff,
That's true, because I remember that candy store that was on the corner, wherever that was, on Corliss, right there by Corliss on the corner store. And it's like every morning, went there, bought Fruities, bought chips. Back in the day, chips was cheap. That's when it was $4 for $1.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, I miss those days. But every morning we would eat this stuff. And you're right. Like, that's crazy. All the stuff we put in our body.
Do you understand? Do you remember Mr. G?
No, who?
Mr. G at the Sitco.
No.
So, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Mr. G, and I hope he's doing well. I hope he's alive and well. Mr. G was old then, though. I don't know how old he was, at that time. But Mr. G was at the Sitco on 103rd and what's that? Jeez.
Oh, you just talking about that gas station right there?
It's the gas station. What's the street though?
Right
there. It's the Vita. Right. So, but anyway, Mr. G, besides being paid his regular salary to work at the Sitco, he sold, treats and stuff, chips with cheese and, fruities and, chewables, candies like that. He probably had been doing that prior to when I got to high school. So to make an estimate of how much money that man made off selling that alone, he had to have been a millionaire off that. He had to. Every morning, I'm talking about, our high school held at least about at least 600 kids?
Maybe.
Including 400-500 at the elementary across the street. So times that every day about how many kids, how many servants he made for that, that's a lot of money.
It is. Back in the day, they also used to have those candy stores at the houses.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
So I feel like, I feel like whatever young pioneer today is listening to this, I feel like switch the game up. If you're by a school or something, if people trust you, I say get some bags of healthy foods and carrots with cheese and pass it to the children and see if you make profit off that.
Ain't nobody, first off, don't nobody want to buy no healthy stuff.
You don't know.
No, if they were to have the little things of fruit like watermelon, strawberries, all that, pineapples, then at the school, I would eat that versus the candy.
Right. The pineapples with the special seasoning. But the Mexicans do that, so we can't necessarily.
I don't need seasoning on my fruit though.
That seasoning on there is very delightful.
I heard that, but no, I'm actually good without it.
It's very good. I mean, you should try it one day. I mean,
one day.
I feel like you should, but I mean, guys, look. If you find anything we have said today informative, please leave comments. Please send some healthy eating regimens, share with what you're doing. Don't hold all of this stuff to yourself. Some of y'all out there looking like big Neanderthals just ripped, and you're not sharing what you're doing, and most of you are sharing it, and it's not working. We don't see progress, but at least you're doing it. So
that's why it's also important to do your own research.
Yep.
Don't be blaming nobody else. If you feel or that you're just not in good shape or healthy, do your own research.
Hey, because we always wait till we see results on other people to try it. I know I've done that a few times.
That was just you. I don't know about that.
No. Especially black people, we do that. We wait for other people.
Speak for yourself, sir.
No. We wait for other people's results to say, "Oh, maybe I should try that."
I mean, if I see a person, I'm on YouTube all the time, and that's how I get into a lot of my healthy habits that I have now. The people who do HIIT workouts, which is high interval training, where I'm doing working as hard as I can for a small amount of time, or I'm eating better, some of the nastiest foods, they make it taste good. Things like that. I do my own because I see wow, I never thought about that. And a lot of people, when I used to eat salads, right, I used to hate it because it was just nasty. But I learned the key to making a salad taste good is to season your vegetables. You have to season it. You just eat it with nothing on there.
That won't taste good to me. I'm glad you said that. Avocado.
You have to season it.
That's something that probably won't ever taste good to me.
But you eat guac,
even as guacamole. I don't like guacamole.
But avocado, it is so good for you though.
It is.
It's a healthy fat.
It's stupid.
What?
It is the stupidest.
I love avocado.
Vegetable.
I didn't like it. It's a fruit, actually.
Fruit, vegetable, whatever it is stupid.
It's not stupid. If you actually season it, you might like it. It's really good.
I might like to throw up. That's what I'd like to do.
You know what? That's because you just eat it with no season. Season your vegetables, season the little fruits or whatever, like avocado, so it can taste good.
whatever guys, eat your avocado. Don't listen to me. Don't let me influence you not to eat stuff because it probably is good. Whoever likes it out there, kudos to you. But guys, we're about to wrap it up. This is your boy D Lyles.
It's your girl Danielle Serene.
This is another episode of
Talk.
Peace out.
Bye.